Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited. We are on the record. Hi, everyone. I'm Serena Fazan, and thank you so much for joining us for this episode of On the Record, where we hear incredible stories from inspiring people. Today, though, a very heavy topic. We are talking about trauma. So many of us, I should say, have gone through it, but oftentimes we don't want to talk about it. And we have a lot of baggage that we carry with us. But today, two incredible women that are helping us lose that baggage and being able to live with what we've gone through. Latarsha Haughton, am I pronouncing that correctly? And Shalon Barnett. Yes. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So let's start with you, Shalon. Both of you have incredible organizations, but also some incredible stories. You also are open to talking about you spent some time incarcerated.
Correct.
If you could share some of your story.
Yes. So I always talk about being addicted to going to jail because growing up, I had so much responsibility. I was the oldest of 3 kids, had a lot of responsibility with my father leaving and my mom being a single mom. So the first time I went to jail, it was like, I went for driving with suspended license. So it was just, I just went. But I found myself being in the habit of going every year just because that was the break. I was getting a break from the world, and I had 24 to 48 hours to sit in jail and just read a book and just relax and not really have any stress. And so I found myself doing it every year just to fill some void. And so it really became serious for me because in 2008, I got arrested for something very serious. And when that happened, I ended up spending more time in jail. And that was a changing point in my life. Just having to not going for 24 to 48 hours, but really longer.
Right. So we will delve into that
Yes.
a little bit deeper. Latarsha, let's go to you right now, though. Even before the show started, you said, what can I share? And I said, on this show, it's unedited, unscripted. And if you're willing to share your story, we want to hear it. And it's a pretty heavy one.
Yes, it is. Well, I started a nonprofit called Breaking the Silence, Healing the Pain. I started that nonprofit because I needed to share my story. I felt like my story would be able to help a lot of people. As a teenager growing up, I was being sexually abused by my biological father.
Your own dad?
My own father.
Oh my gosh.
As a result of the abuse, I conceived a son. And a lot of people, would say, well, you were in high school, why would you have this baby? But my answer to that question is that was my escape to get away. And I just wanted to be loved. As a child, I did not have that because I was with my dad and I was kind of transferred from family member to family member to family member. And I didn't feel that mother and father bond love because my mother was living in Detroit at the time. And she thought, oh, my daughter can live with her dad, which it should be normal for a child to be able to live with their dad.
You should be safe with your biological parent.
So, I just felt like I needed to have this child so that I can feel the love that I always longed and desired. And it gave me a way to get away. So I met a guy, and he was not, my boyfriend at the time, but I attached myself to him. And then I told him I was pregnant. And so him and I raised my child together. But years later, I came forward and I wanted the truth out. And
so he didn't
even know?
He
didn't know, not at the time. But when I did explain it to him, he did tell me that him and his mother had already known and that he never wanted to hurt me, and he never changed the birth certificate, and he continued to pay child support and take care of our son because he said that this is his son.
What an angelic person.
Yes.
Honestly, what a truly. And how old is your son now?
My son is 32.
32?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, on the lighter side of the show, girl, you look fantastic. You are beautiful.
Thank you.
I was ready to hear, oh, he's 16. He's 15. 32.
He's 32.
Girl. So on a very serious note, though, the one word I heard from both of you is escape. That you wanted to escape your current situation.
Yes.
And then, Shalon, you were talking about you went to prison for a longer period of time for committing a
It started
series of
out very
events.
small, and then it gradually became
Bigger. Do you mind sharing what that larger offense was?
Yeah, I got arrested for Medicaid fraud. So I was working with special need kids, and I was billing and not really submitting the paperwork, and so that's fraud. And it took me a long time to admit it was fraud because I was like, well, I was doing the work, but it was fraud. So
How long did you have to? How long did you spend behind bars for that?
I only spent 19 days behind bars for that offense. So, but that was the 19 of the best days of my life. So that's how I share it.
Because it opened your eyes.
It opened my eyes. It made me sit still for a moment and realize my own issues and stop blaming other people and really just starting to see myself as for who I was and what every decision that I had made was the reason why I was sitting there, not what someone else did or tried to do. And so it was just eye-opening for me at that time.
So talk about Shalon's Hope then.
So I started Shalon's Hope, and really because when this happened to me, when I got arrested, they put it on the news. So I was so embarrassed, and I really just wanted to give up on life. I was a single parent at the time. My son was 9. And I remember the day I sat on the floor and I said, you know, today is the day I'm going to end my life. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and while I was sitting there crying, I got a vision, and the vision was me standing on the stage speaking to people. And it's blocked off my thought of suicide, and I said, okay, I got to get up. You know, I have a son. I got to get up. I got to face the world, because once that happened, I lost everything. My income stopped. I lost my home. I lost my car. I lost everything. I had to send my son to live with family. And so a year later, I got arrested again for driving with suspended license, because every year I was going, those points were adding up. And so it all came to a head. And so I got arrested again. But this time I was on probation, and that is when I spent the 19 days in jail. So Shalon Hope came out of that, because when I got off the floor the first time, it was because of my son. He was my hope. I had to get up. And then the second time, when I was sitting there for 19 days, I had to become his hope. And so that is how Shalon's Hope came about. And so my toughest time through those 2-year period was really not having a place of my own to live. And so I said, you know, once I was able to do better in my life, I wanted to be able to give back. And that is how I started the transitional home for women in recovery, based off of the hope that I needed to give to someone else.
And when was when was that established? How many years?
2016.
2016. And Latarsha, how about with you? When was your nonprofit established?
2016. Well, 2015.
So with both of you, you consider yourself, right, and you should be, empowerment coaches.
Right.
So with each of your organizations, how do you said you have a transitional home, how do you help young women, or is it young men and women?
Yes.
And I shouldn't even say young. Is it any age that you help?
It's any age, but usually, well, for me, I'm starting to get people from anywhere of 13 all the way up until like 40s, 50s. Yeah, because right now I'm working with another organization, and she has all young girls, and then I'm working at Shalon's Hope with recovering addicts. And these women, you know, just some of the success stories. We have one specifically that she completed my 12-step program on self-love, because I teach you self-love. Because if you can learn how to love yourself, you can set boundaries, you can surround yourself with safe people, you will learn how to say no, because that's something I did not know how to do. And I help them, like, you don't have to stay here. Your past does not dictate your future. So when I work with one of these ladies, she did not have her high school diploma. We got her GED, helped her to push her to complete the GED program. She's registered and she's in college now. She is now coming back to Shalon's Hope, and she is now doing AA meetings and NA meetings with the ladies there. She's giving back to the community. She wants to do a nonprofit. She's doing amazing. She has an incredible job, and she got her daughter back. It's just been really great.
That is incredible. And I know you guys have an amazing event coming up in November, and we can talk about that in the second half of the show. But before we get there, so Shalon's Hope is actually a physical place where you can go.
Correct. It's a physical home.
So can you elaborate on that?
Yes, so I always break hope down. When I first started, it was helping other people excel. But when I realized my journey was really more than just helping other people, it was really I needed to heal from something. So now I break it down as heal, overcome, purpose, and empowerment. And so those are pretty much the steps that we do in the home. And I know that once I was able to find a stable place to lay my head, I was able to really blossom and have ideas and dream again and believe again. And so I wanted to give that back to the women. And so that is how I established Shalon's Hope. And the home is really just to bring women in. How I got into recovery I don't know. But I said, I didn't know anything about addiction, but I knew homeless, hopeless, and helpless. And whoever I can help in that, and that's how I started the home.
So Shalon, can people stay at the home?
They do.
They do. So how many people are at the home at the same time, and how long can they stay?
So I have 8 beds available. The time is normally 6 to 12 months, but each person is different because everyone, have different situations. So Latarsha so graciously helps me out there with that part, and she kind of does the intake, and so we kind of figure out, what the needs are and how we can help them, and then we just kind of map it out through that way. So I don't have a limited time because everybody's situation is different, and so we just really try to work and help them reach their goals. And one of the things that I do pride myself is when they do decide to transition out is I give them the bed. So at least
you give them the physical bed.
Yes, because if they don't have anything else, they will always have a bed to sleep in.
Wow. You know what? In all my years of journalism, that is the first time that I've heard that.
Yes,
that is incredible. So Latarsha, with you and Shalon working together, so you bring your nonprofit, and basically you are 2 powerhouses.
Yes.
I mean, humility aside, share the story of how the 2 of you met.
So I had a social media strategist that used to do all my social media, and she was vetting people in the area because I was transitioning from Maryland to Florida. And she saw Shalon's Hope, and she said, hey, I see a lady here, Shalon's Hope. She said, you guys do a lot of the same work. You're passionate about what you do. She said, I think that this would be a great person for you to collaborate with. So I was like, oh, okay, never paid it any attention. And then I met another young lady at a networking event. They go to the same hair salon together, and she was asking me what I do, and I was telling her how, I have a nonprofit, Breaking the Silence, Healing the Pain. She said, oh my gosh, I had this lady named Shalon. You have to meet her. She said, she said, you guys do a lot of the same thing. You're so passionate about helping people. And so I said, okay, I'm going to, try to reach out to her. So still never happened. So I was watching her on Facebook. At this point now, I'm vetting her. Mm-hmm. And so I was listening to her, and she was talking about a situation, and she was very vulnerable, which what I stand for, transparency and vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And she was very vulnerable about forgiveness and what she was going through. And I said, I have got to connect with this woman. And so when we connected, we were so passionate about what it is that we do. I said, we got to do a conference together. We need to collaborate. And this was the first time I met her.
Okay, so hold on to that thought, because the conference is actually coming up in November, right?
Yes.
So we need to talk about this conference. We're going to go to a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Why is Precision Garage Door a name you can trust? Because of the Precision Promise.
Precision Garage Door, this is Sophia. How may I help you?
Your call is answered day or night by a live person ready to help.
That's our promise.
Our technicians will arrive on time in one of our recognizable, fully stocked vehicles.
That's our promise.
And there's never an extra charge for nights or weekends to repair your garage door. Quality service quickly from a name you can trust. That's the Precision Promise.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Label Swap is a retail store that you can bring in the items you don't want anymore. We will buy them for either a cash offer or store credit, and you can also shop the items as well. We carry anything from H&M, Lululemon, up to your luxury items like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. There's nothing really around like it here in the market. It is a fun, personalized experience.
I go there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to On the Record. So you go to Label Swap too.
Yes.
I know, aren't they wonderful?
Yes.
I know, Label Swap. Shout out to them. They are one of the sponsors for the show, and we really do appreciate it. Love the Pearsons.
Yes.
They're a wonderful, wonderful family. Well, thank you both. Again, powerful women with powerful messages on the show. We have Latarsha Haughton here and Shalon Barnett. So you guys have a big conference coming up in
Yes.
November.
Yay.
Yay!
We're excited about it.
Yes.
Yes.
So please share details on the record.
Okay.
So the conference is It's Your Time to Shine, and the theme is Release the Baggage. It's November 19th, 2022. It's going to be in Tampa at Embassy Suite USF, and we're just very, very excited about it. And she will share a little bit about our guests that are going to be there.
Yes, please.
So the conference is going to be from 9 to 5 because we have a performance by Jennifer Reel, and she performs here in St. Pete.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know if you're familiar with Jennifer Reel. She's
Will
really
you
good.
share who she is? Because I have the opportunity to know who she is, but I'd love for you to share with the audience.
Okay, Jennifer Reel, she does live singing. She's phenomenal, and we love going and watching her perform. I met her, and I introduced myself, and I asked her, was she interested in, coming on and singing for us, and she was honored. So I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Jennifer Reel.
I know we should say, let's do a shout out to Jennifer Reel and get her on the record.
Yes, get on the
Right,
record.
right. Yes, come on the show. Come on the show.
Oh, you would love her.
So she is performing.
Yes.
And tell us the details of the show. Are there tickets still available? Are you encouraging people? And you can share more of that.
There are tickets still available. We still even have some VIP tickets, and the VIP tickets, Real Talk Kim from Atlanta is going to be our keynote speaker. A lot of people love her. She goes all around the world sharing. She's an inspirational speaker. She's very spiritual, and she is gonna. We did a live with her, and everybody was on there telling us it's going to be incredible. Yeah. And when she comes, they're going to be able to, the VIP people are going to be able to have I think 30 to 45 minute
Time with her.
Time with her.
Just with her,
One-on-one.
and one-on-one. And then we're going to have a panel, which the panel is going to have 2 men, 2 women, and then we'll have some other speakers in between.
And honestly, that 45 minutes, again, is like a therapy session,
Oh, yeah.
one-on-one. Why do you think, and for those who are joining us late, we're talking about trauma and the effects of trauma and carrying the baggage and how sometimes we just can't let go of it. Why do you feel it's so important to do conferences like this?
I think it's important because I think sometimes, I can say for me, I saw through a certain lens and I didn't see any difference. So everything was familiar to me, and I didn't think that, the way I was doing it was the right way. So I think conferences are important because sometimes someone can say something or do something that you start looking at yourself saying, oh, well, I experienced that too, and this is why I may look at things a little differently. And you don't heal from it because you don't talk about it because, you don't feel like it's a safe place to talk. So I think conferences are important because we're able to share, but not only that, also provide a safe space for people to be able to open up and talk about past traumas and try to, start getting the healing that they need so that they can move on to the next level of their life.
So, Latarsha talks about your 12 steps of loving yourself, which I did love to hear. But how do you let go of the baggage and the trauma? I mean, really, of course we would love to love ourselves, but what are the first steps that we need to take?
Acknowledging. And a lot of people can't acknowledge because if you're in trauma for so long, it becomes the norm for you. So
Right.
having conferences, because we Shalon and I talked, we didn't want to have a conference that we would just empower. We wanted to impact. So when you walk away, you're going to walk away changed. You're going to walk away feeling like this person was able to get through that, and they're now doing this. I can do it. And, when I would go to conferences and I would hear people talking about these things and they could relate to what I was going through, it really helped me. So I just feel like you said, how can people change that? For me, I'll just use me as an example. I was a people pleaser for so long because of my trauma. I didn't know how to tell people no. You would ask me to do something and I would have 15 other things to do, but I would say yes because I was a people pleaser and I didn't know how to say no because I wanted your approval. I needed that.
And so desperate for love.
Exactly, right.
Just like what happened with your dad like so many years ago.
But when I learned to start looking, I put a picture of myself as a little girl on the front of my phone. And every time I had to make a hard decision, I would look at that little girl, that 8-year-old little girl inside of me.
Oh my
and I
gosh.
would tell her, this is not a good situation for you. So you're going to need to say no, because I need you to show up for this little girl that needs you more than anything. And so that little girl that was dying inside of me, she needed me. So I needed to show up for her and say, I'm going to protect you now. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make better decisions for you. And so now when somebody called me up and say, can you do X, Y, Z? No. I have this going on, that going on. And I can say no without feeling guilty, because that's the first thing you're going to feel is guilt. It will guilt you out. And then people like to try to transfer their stuff onto you. Well, I got this going on, I got that going on. And then I simply say, you know what? Maybe I can help you to find somebody else, but I can't do it. And I just have to stand firm in that. But that is how you start to learn to love yourself, because you have to start making decisions what's best for you. Because so easy, we always want to do what's best for Shalon, want to do what's best for you, and we fall to pieces.
And isn't that something I always said as a traditional journalist when I worked on local news, and I hold true to this statement and always will. If you can help one person, it was worth it. And one person who's watching this may take that tip of putting yourself as a child on the phone, or even maybe it's on your car, that when you see yourself as that child, to help that young person within. I mean, your whole organization is hope. So you truly, truly believe, Shalon, that every single person, no matter the trauma that they have faced, has hope to come out on the other side?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel every day you're able to wake up, there's another chance to right your wrongs. I absolutely believe that.
Well, you shared, and thank you so much. I mean, it's so difficult at times, right, to share your deepest pain. But you shared that you were even at the brink of suicide.
Yes.
So if you're at the brink of suicide in just one day, I know you can't do it in one day. So what did you tell yourself to keep going every day? I know you talked about your son and having that hope.
I think my belief in God, and when I saw the vision, when I saw myself standing on the stage, it was like, it wasn't even me. Like, I couldn't even believe it, but it just, something inside just said, you know, I wanted to find out what that was about. And then also when I did get the vision and saw myself on the stage, I saw the people, and the people reminded me of my son. And so it's like I had to get up for him. So I had to get up.
And you have, and you've changed lives in the process. How do the nonprofits pay for themselves? Like, for instance, for the people who need the beds, do you get federal funding? Is it private donations? How do you do it?
I get private donations, and also the women do have a program fee that they do pay when they come in, and also I do fundraisers.
So are you, isn't it wonderful to see, though, the impact that a community can have? And even if you think, all right, there may not be the right financial resources that we need, do you both feel, and I think you're answering it, when there's a will, there's a way?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And to be honest, like, a lot of times we come out of our own pockets because we see the need, and just like she said, God will provide a way. It's just, you know, we're constantly coming out of our pocket until we get to the point where we can get more donations, and we're just going to continue to push to help.
You know, were you going to say something, Shalon, on that? You know, you both talk a lot about, too, also faith, right? And you both have very, very strong faith. And you were talking about the vision that I keep on thinking about. Do you think sometimes that God does put you in certain situations so you are there to help other people with your stories?
Yes. Truly believe that.
I believe what we go through in life is not for us, it's to help someone else, but the lessons that we learn in each situation is for us.
Right.
So amazing, amazing stuff, guys. How can we find you better? You both have social media handles, or what is the best way to find you, and what is the best way to help the organizations?
So I'm on all platforms, in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and it's under Shalon's Hope, or just my name, Shalon Barnett. So.
And how about you, Latarsha? Same thing?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, I have a private group that I meet with the women. It's called Breaking the Silence, Healing the Pain. We do like a private group, and then we do support groups for women because we are global, you know, so people reach out from all over. And we meet with them every 2 weeks. We took a break for the summer, but in the fall we'll be starting back up, and we will be starting the support groups, and it's from 7 to 8. And if they go to my website, www.latarsha.haughton.com, they can just click on the link saying that they want to attend the support group. They'll get the social media, they'll get the Zoom link, and they can attend the class, the group, the session.
That's
and
wonderful.
Sometimes we'll have therapists to come on. Sometimes we'll speak on different topics and stuff like that. So,
for your event coming up in November, how many people do you hope to have there?
300.
300. So where are we at now? Would you say are ticket sales just beginning?
Yes,
we're just starting out.
We just starting out. Well, we're
and we also, I know she mentioned the VIP, but we also have vending tables too, so people can come out to do vending as well, and do donations also on the website.
Yes.
How do you think Tampa is in general? You know, when we, our show too, and I'm very thankful for that, has international viewers too now. But how do you feel Tampa is as a community embracing these type of things?
I think they're more open now to talk about things more. I think especially when the pandemic happened, because so many people were at home, and then mental health is coming up. Everyone's talking about it, so I think they're more open now to it because of all of the stuff that the last couple of years that we've been through.
I think honestly that I think everybody needs to give themselves a pat on the back. Honestly,
Yes.
Getting through COVID, and I know we're still going through this unprecedented time, but
Yes.
talking about adding a layer of depression, anxiety, loneliness, even to the trauma. So grateful for people like you. Any last thoughts before we wrap up the show?
I want to just say I love Latarsha. So she did share how we met, but I'm going to just share how the relationship, because meeting Latarsha, I think the conference too, meeting people that make it okay, give you a safe place to be able to heal. So I love her for that, because she really did give me a safe place, because I was already open, but I wasn't open until we met.
Until you met. Yes. Oh my gosh. And so we love hearing that on the show. Thank you so much for being on. And thank you so much for watching. If you would like to be on the show or have a topic that you would like to discuss, please email us or contact us at production@redhousestreaming.com. In fact, we've got to give a shout out to Kiva Williams, who got you guys on the show. She's been on our show, the Fun Foodie Mama, and she and her husband are one of my favorite Love in Americas, episode 23. But you can also follow us on multiple social media platforms. We're also on Roku with some other major announcements coming soon. But again, Latarsha Haughton, Shalon Barnett, thank you so much for sharing your stories and opening up Coming on the Record.
Thank
you for having us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you next week.